Actually, he's not going to come with you. He'll wave. And the question is, are you attempting to conceal any particular information from him or conceal your
Not at
impression?
this moment.
No problem. Okay. So off you go. And let's see then. What will that be? Before you get to the temple, I want to ask you, Noah, is Theoxxa going to tell Augox more about the travels? For example, um, meeting a person who was almost exactly like you, except they were a robot. Um, are you going to talk about um, your debates with 13 about the difference between you know the ritual defiance, the organized ritual, catechized, taught, and a doctrine of defying God versus the theology of the holy flesh, which is all about how humans are the genitals of robots. I mean, you had a lot to talk about, right? I mean, did you want to talk about this stuff with Theoxxa at all, or is it going to be very relationship oriented? Just let me know what you have in mind, because you did have a goal that was relationship oriented, but you also had a
Yes.
goal about getting 13 to worship. I'm basically asking which is your emphasis right
Um, so I think, and again, given that that I failed the cunning roll earlier, I am not picking up on those, the silences where she is
now.
not, joining in
Mm-hmm.
with laughter, as I tell jokes at the expense of other sects within the religion, and so yes, I am
Mm-hmm.
excitedly telling her all
How many
of these
fundamentalists does it
adventures.
take to turn a haunch on a spit, right? That kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh, and how I bested unbelievers on the journey, uh, and and of course, I think I'm this close to convincing, to converting 13. Just
Right,
a lot of potential there. Um,
right.
Yep, and excitedly, saying all these things, not noticing that she is not joining in as enthusiastically when I talk about, browbeating people
Right.
into theological agreement, or beating people up who disagree with me.
All I can say is that on your travels, my impression is that people were surprisingly agreeable.
Yes, agreed.
Funny, they said they listen really well out there in those other lands. So, um,
Yeah, I only had to take my sword out 2 or 3
right.
times.
And so, yeah, after that, things were fine. So, you, as far as I can tell, are very much speaking from the heart.
Yes.
So, that would be a sincerity check. This is important
Oh,
because we have to
excellent.
see how much she realizes that you really mean this. That's
Right. So I do have the sincerity specialty, so I'm just going to roll my charm. Okay.
correct. Yes. In yes, correct.
That is a passable.
Oh, okay, okay. So passable actually requires, if you want to fully clinch your point, that you would make another roll on something else, which in this case I'm going to say is very much a love thing. And so I'm going to, I think it probably should be empathy.
Okay. Which I do not have, so I'm going to roll at half of my
Wait,
alertness.
oh, empathy as part of your alert. Oh, actually, let me think if that makes sense. Um, no, I was thinking of going for one of the skills, not one of the specialties. So I was looking for things like strength and stuff like that. So it would be just the skill itself, which is alertness.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Pathetic.
Oh no. Okay, so unbeknownst to you, you are coming off as insincere. Um,
Oh,
so
oh no.
right. So she's very happy about this. She's like, I get it. I get it. And so puts her forepaw, her hand on your shoulder, leans up against you and says, "No problem. We'll make sure that this robot is properly taken care of." So, um,
Wonderful.
mhm.
Of course you will, because you're the best. Yes.
So she says, "I think that bath is called for. Uh, I suppose I should have made a statement or an announcement or a proclamation of some kind, but I got a little distracted." So the next we will see is 13 coming up to this pyramid area, looking around, and that you will quickly observe that there are two sorts of ways that Vargar seem to be dealing with this place. There are people who have cloth, draped around their shoulders or other ornamentation, who are conducting very ritualistic behaviors, like leading a group of people in a song, for example, mostly composed of rather shocking profanity, but a hymn. Then there are other people who come and go, and they are just dressed ordinarily. Some of the people are treating this religious place in a very individualized way. They just show up, you know, just maybe bow their heads for a little while and then
Mm,
leave or something like that. But others are very ritualized and seem to dress up.
mm,
So there's two kinds of ways of dealing with things here. Um, but that is what any casual observer can see. The actual content or the social dynamics between the two, all the rest of that is not immediately evident. Um, and when you come walking up, and I keep saying rolling, that's not quite right. You're humanoid enough to walk. And there is one problem, which is that there's part of the temple has been partly restored. It's been ruined and weathered over the years, and they've been restoring it, but that has left a big mess of equipment and rags and spilled paint and stuff like that in the next portion that they haven't got to yet. There's just a big mess there. So there's uh, a couple of there's a Vargar there who's kind of looking at the mess and sighs and picks up, starts cleaning up and tidying up a little bit and doesn't look happy about it at all. So that's happening. And then, uh, okay, now you definitely need an alertness check for what I'm going to tell you next, especially given your type.
passable.
Passable. All right, you can see with a passable, you can see that different Vargar are reacting differently to you. Now I want you to make a customs check.
Okay, that's half my knowledge,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
Oh.
that's catastrophic.
Oh no. Okay. First of all, put a check next to your knowledge. You can put a little check right there.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, the people who seem most welcoming for you are the ones in sort of the Vargar equivalent of robes.
Which
Okay,
okay,
right. The
the
ones who,
singing ones.
right, exactly. And in fact, it seems to you as though it would make perfectly good sense for you to go over there and maybe join in the song. Clearly, they want you to, they're looking at you in a way that invites you to come and stand with them and sing a little.
Oh, that's fine. I can't sing, but I can take up my violin.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
So I'm going to do exactly that.
Excellent.
I'm kind of opening a little door on my on my upper leg and draw the violin
Oh,
and try to
magnificent.
listen in onto the melody
No problem. It's quite catchy, as a matter of fact.
and
Somebody composed
of
it well.
play along.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. So you show up there and start playing away, and at first it seems to you as though you are in fact um, doing quite well. In fact, they seem to be giving you a solo as their voices fall away and are quiet. One by one they stop singing and are looking at you and seem to be listening quite nicely. And so
doing my very best.
Yeah, I figure your character is quite absorbed now in your
Yes.
playing. Yes. Which is why I guess we better turn to the combat rules. Oh boy. Okay. So actually, Noah, I'm going to need you to be our reference here.
Okay.
So you just go. This combat rules are actually quite short, but I just want to have I want to have the and I've got my values right here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so first attack, who gets it? Because I'm actually going to say that given 13's absorption in her violin playing, that that the first attack is going to be coming in on her. There may be a section on surprise.
So it looks like there isn't a section called attacking with surprise, but you do get +1 column if attacking an unsuspecting foe.
Perfect. Okay, that's what it is. And now I want you to roll. Yes, Helma.
I have a wake up, which is based on my alertness.
You do.
And it means I can be as absorbed as I want to.
Including being asleep.
I'm probably going to sense what's going on.
Perfect. Wake up is exactly what I had in mind for these situations. So you go right ahead and roll wake up because that's kind of important.
Or at least I hope it will work.
Awesome.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Not another catastrophe.
Wait. It's at least only inferior.
Okay, well, fantastic. Now we know just how much you are into your instrument. And so,
I'm just like,
I know. I just love it. They've all stopped singing,
Wonderful.
And you're like, oh, this is great. Solo! You're really getting into the solo. And so what this means is that first it is a hit location roll.
Would this be the hit location table?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Then it is a D6 for head, chest, arms, and legs.
if they touch my violin, I swear.
Right leg might be the one with the compartment.
Yes, right, not the arms. So what you would do, now I don't think we actually did this, but we should. What we do is we look at your right leg and see how well armored it is. And since you're a robot, I'm actually going to say that it's actually one step up from a human. Noah, you're our combat specialist here. So therefore, she's going to make a defense roll with the damage coming in. So I have the damage here. And so she has to roll her defense. So what does it say there?
A foe does not roll to determine his damage. Instead, the player must roll his defense. Foes automatically inflict a set amount of damage each attack. For instance, a goblin might do poor damage, while a giant would do great damage.
Right, but she has to succeed in the defense roll to keep it from hurting her. So that's the idea. So for the defense roll, you know what? I don't think we've set up our characters with much of this. I did not really anticipate a lethal fight this time around, but here we are. Nothing like a little catastrophic, inappropriate,
You don't know
interference in
me and my
sacred
dice, so
religious
why are
rights,
you
right?
surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all. But I am a little bit out of my element. I don't have my book like in front of me or anything like that. So
We have not.
right. So check on the defense. I think it may go back to character creation where you set up your defense properly.
Oh, so I see. Okay, so we've got. Looks like we have base. We have to calculate a base defense value.
Mhm.
Did you do that, Helma?
I don't think so.
So
I
this is
should have told you guys, but I
No.
didn't. But
okay.
we'll
No
figure it
problem.
out.
So this is your agility plus your stamina.
Mhm.
13, 16, 29.
Wow.
Then we're gonna divide it by 2. So
14.
we
Okay.
have rounding down, and then we can also add. So your base defense is 14, and then for the right leg, the base defense is 14, and then any armor that we want to add.
So you've got a 15. So roll percentile dice with 15, and we'll see. Your robot's really freaking hard to hurt. 15 is an excellent score.
Worst case, I've got repair.
That's right.
Passable.
Okay.
So I might need it.
Yeah, actually, unfortunately, that's not quite good enough. And so you are going to take good damage to your leg. So yeah, the first thing that happens is this large creature has just swiped at you and just taken a leg out, from under you, and you're probably off balance. Defense versus damage, points of damage. There we go. Okay, right. You only take 1 point of damage. What you do is you compare what you rolled, which was passable, to what you needed to defend successfully, which was good. So you missed by 1. So it's only 1 point of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, nice.
So you take a light wound
so,
to the leg.
Yes. And this is a mere scratch or bruise, and it doesn't have an effect.
Exactly. Yeah. But so what that means, though, is that since given the size and the fact, I'm thinking this is like a swipe of a forepaw, right? And so since it doesn't like do more than a light damage, I don't think it's going to knock you off balance. But you definitely will be, you're not. You're forced to
balance,
you're definitely recovering your balance and realize that this one of the people right there that you were singing with, who for some reason has lost their mind and is swiping at you, and you're not an idiot. I mean, as soon as you recognize this, you'll recognize that the people around you are not friendly. So and words are in Vargar are being spoken, words that sound a little accusatory. You know what? It's the same tone of voice that you're familiar with from being persecuted. You know what that voice sounds like, even if you don't understand the words. Right. So that is they are calling you bad names in doctrinal and religious terms.